Alright, so in my last Terminator review, I said that I would be reviewing T2 Judgment Day 3 times. What I meant by that is that just to give you a clue as to what I have planned for just this one movie, I'm going to review the theatrical release, the original theatrical release, give you all my thoughts on it, relevant to just that version, and then I'm going to review the what's called the special edition, which is like an extended cut. It's like 16 or 17 more minutes added to the film, and I want to review it because I actually think it improves on the original film. There's also an extended special edition, which I'm sort of tossing with whether or not to even do a video on that, because I have seen it and it's not really necessary. Like, the existence of that version isn't necessary at all. So I might just do a review for the special edition, and the third one that I was planning on doing a review for was the digital restoration. But for now, I'm just going to do the original theatrical version, no updated effects, just the way it was meant to be, or the way it was originally viewed by a lot of people. Man, I'm so excited. I'm just going to get straight into this. Let's go.
They fly apart like leaves. Dream. Cataclysm. The end of the world are very common. It's not a dream. What? It's real. I know the day that happens. I'm sure it feels very real to you. On August 29th, 1997, it's gonna feel pretty fucking real to you too. Anybody not wearing 2 million sunblock is gonna have a real bad day. Get it? You think you're safe and alive? You're already dead. Everybody, him, you're dead already. This whole place, everything you see is gone. You're the one living in a fucking dream, some of it, because I knew it happened. It happened.
All right, so it's like dead quiet in the room right now because we just made it up to the scene where Dr. Silverdick is making Sarah watch a previous recording of hers where she's freaking out and describing her dream of people flying apart like leaves. Can I just say, Linda Hamilton? That's her name, right? Linda Hamilton is a fucking amazing actor. She's so good. And you really see it in that scene. Okay? But also, that scene kind of puts it into perspective. It makes you realize, oh shit, this isn't a dream, it's reality. Like in the context of this movie, it's going to happen. So yeah, I don't know. I just really love that scene. It gives me chills almost every time that I watch it because of such a really good performance given by Linda Hamilton, and also it's kind of like prophecy, and it feels very real. Also, I didn't mention Sarah Connor much in my or at all in my first review because there wasn't much to say. She was like a nice lady. Like, there wasn't much to her character. Now there's a lot to her character. She's developed a lot. So I might talk a bit more about her in these T2 reviews. All right, so I have to talk about one thing, which is my biggest problem concerning Terminator 2, but doesn't actually have anything to do with the movie itself. It's the trailer, okay? Terminator, the franchise, has had this like disease where they just feel the need to spoil shit in their trailers. Watching the trailer for T2 and seeing that it actually tells you that Arnie is the good guy.
This time, he's back. For good.
Trust me.
Now, coming off the first Terminator movie, people wouldn't have known that. They would have gone in thinking that he was the bad guy and thinking that the skinny guy dressed up as a cop would be the good guy, right? They spoiled it. It would have been nice if people back then going to see this movie didn't have that spoiled for them. And the reason why I have such a problem with it now is because they're still doing it. With Terminator Genesis, in one of their trailers, they spoiled that John Connor was the villain in that movie. Like, why do you guys keep spoiling shit in your Terminator trailers? Stop doing that. That T-1000 just infiltrated John's foster parents' home without anyone knowing. See, if it was the T-800 in the first one, he just would have killed everyone and changed his voice. this, the T-1000's way more, I can't think of the word, but he's more lethal, deadly, stealthy, I don't know.
Watching John with the machine, it was suddenly so clear. The Terminator would never stop. It would never leave him. And it would never hurt him, never shout at him or get drunk and hit him or say it was too busy to spend time with him. It would always be there, and it would die to protect him. Of all the would-be fathers who came and went over the years, this thing, this machine, was the only one who measured up. In an insane world, it was the sanest choice.
That has got to make you think, doesn't it? What Sarah was just talking about. By the way, I'm keeping that in the video. I don't care if I get copyrighted. But that really makes you think. It's like, over the time span of this movie, you see a machine as a character grow, learn, and change. It would have been easy for James Cameron to just focus on the humans, but he's like, no, let's focus on the Terminator as well. Let's not just see him as like a machine. Let's do something else with him. Make him different than what he was in the first one as like this villain. Now he's a person, if you can say that.
The unknown future rolls toward us. I face it for the first time with a sense of hope. Because if a machine, a Terminator, can learn the value of human life, maybe we can too.
Alright, so the movie's done, finished, over. Before I end this video though, I do have to talk about one thing, and it's the time travel and changes to the timeline in this movie. It gets very confusing, and even John Connor himself earlier in the movie says it can really screw with your mind, and it really does when you think about it too much. Okay, here's the thing. Back in 1984, the first Terminator, when it was terminated, its chip and arm were collected by what we now know in this movie as Cyberdyne Systems, and Cyberdyne Systems created Skynet. So does that mean that the chip and arm that was left over from the original Terminator was the very thing that created Skynet? Or was its creation inevitable and the chip and arm just accelerated the process of its creation? That's one thing that I toy around with when watching this movie. There's also another part in this where they destroy all of his research. They destroy the chip in the arm, which essentially takes out Skynet. So Skynet never gets created. But does that mean that T1 and T2 are essentially wiped from the timeline so that these two movies actually never happened? Or does that mean that they continue on and to them, right, everything still happened, but they're now living in their own alternate timeline that has spawned off from the original timeline? So, I don't know. I really don't know. It's a lot to think about, and as I said, and as John Connor said, it's a lot to think about, and it can really screw with your mind. But if that is the case, if they, in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, if they are now living in an alternate timeline where that doesn't happen, where Skynet doesn't take over, does that mean that there is more than one alternate timeline, and that all the Terminator movies to come out after this take place in their own alternate timeline? It's something to think about. I mean, that would give the Terminator franchise a lot to play around with, because it would open doors up to the possibility of a multiverse, and each Terminator is still canon, but not a part of this time. I don't know what I'm rambling on about right now. I'm just gonna go on and continue on with watching the other two versions of this movie, and I'll see you in those two videos. You don't have to watch them, so if you don't watch them, I guess I'll see you in my review for Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. But if you are going to watch those other two reviews of me reviewing this movie and all its alternate versions, I'll see you in those videos.